She really changes the energy when she walks in a room.
It's so annoying when all my friends come around because all they want to do is hang out with her.
She's wonderful. I couldn't picture life without her. But yeah, she really can be an absolute arse sometimes.
Sometimes I wonder if she's bipolar.
We did worry about her for a long time.
She's very unpredictable.
Because she was showing traits that we've just never seen before.
She changes everything when she walks in a room.
Biscuit, oh biscuit, oh biscuit. The one I did before is ruined. I am Lucy and Lucy, and no, biscuit. No, bad girl. Yes, bad girl.
Well, yeah, I've had cats my whole life. I've never spent longer than a couple of years without a cat. So when we had you guys, we had to go for a long time without a cat because cats and toddlers don't mix. But when you got old enough, we decided we'd get cats.
And at that point, we had a friend who worked at the SPCA.
And they only had 2 kittens on site that day. We were only going to get 1 cat, but they had 2 kittens. They were sisters. So we decided we couldn't leave without both of them.
So we had to name them, was the first thing.
So you named Lucy, yeah. And then, I mean, the joke we tell is Ben was hungry, so he just thought of the food that he wanted to eat, which was biscuits. So he just chose Biscuit.
And look at.
You want to look at the camera? Sweetie, leave the kittens alone.
They were very different. They had very different personalities even then.
I think Lucy was more of an indoor cat and Biscuit was more of an outdoor cat.
I always saw them as like the twins. There was like one quiet one and one annoying one. Lucy was the quiet one.
I think Lucy slept a bit more. I seem to remember. Biscuit was usually more energetic and a bit more playful.
Yeah, they were very different cats. We were on holiday in Australia and my phone went.
The person who was house sitting rang us in tears that Lucy, or one of the cats, had been hit by a car.
So it was very lovely of them, but Kenya picked Lucy up, chucked her in the car and took her to the 24-hour emergency vet for us.
After talking to the vet for a little while, it was like, okay, well, you should put her down.
I was going to say, and then we got left with Biscuit. You know, I don't know if cats realise. She was probably lonely.
I didn't see a major reaction in the sort of subsequent weeks and months, but I think that was probably the beginning of her turn.
Am I allowed to use the word that I normally use to describe her? So shall I talk a little bit about how Biscuit is a complete and total and utter arsehole? And Andy, I've never in my entire life seen a cat stalk a child.
I was always in the garden. We'd go out in the garden and she would just... It was whenever you saw her, you would just like immediately get scared and try and get to the deck and like inside as fast as possible without her running after you. And the moment that you saw her like crouch down in the grass, that was like when you knew she was about to attack. The time in the garden. So, well, it was just like every other time Biscuit attacked me, except this time you were filming. That was so gross. No! Stop! Oh. Get away! Jamie! Get away!
And she would attack her, and her feet would end up scratched and bleeding, and Andy was terrified of her, absolutely terrified.
All the wounds, because when she went to the vet once before, the vet pointed out that there's lots of bite marks and wounds. All the wounds are on the front of her body, which means she's heading into the fight.
I think it's just I think the grey cat came from 2 houses down.
Oh, the grey cat. That's bloody, the Maine Coon, I think.
Bisc will not take a backward step, even when this enormous, ridiculous Maine Coon thing turned up, which is really more of a small truck than a cat. Over time, she just felt she would get smaller and smaller and skinnier, and at first it was to do with the change of the seasons, and we just thought, okay, well, she's molted.
I just thought she was getting older. And then one day she was really sick. She was throwing up. She was not eating and really not healthy. So I think that day or the next day, we took her to the vet. Yeah, they took one look at her and realised she shouldn't be that thin and that sick, so they took some bloods and did some tests.
Was it a thyroid? Yeah, there was some abnormality in the thyroid, which I think was like a form of cancer. Certainly she had to have radiation treatment.
So she was gone for about a week.
The thyroid problem can cause personality issues in cats. So I think we pinned a lot on, well, that explains it then, doesn't it? But I think Biscuit's the exception to the rule because she didn't change at all. She's still highly unpleasant. She is cute to look at. She is a gorgeous cat. It's just the personality is abysmal. I love it though.